Hello everybody and welcome back to another video on my channel PokePidge. Today is part 2 of 100 Pokemon I've invented. On part 1 we went through the first 48 and now we're going to go through the last 52. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. The fairy type Pokemon content is going to be a baby unicorn. It's going to be exceptionally cute, not that powerful really, but still it's going to be a nice Pokemon to have in your team. That will evolve into Capticorn. That's going to be a more sort of adolescent type unicorn, you know, think pony size, but sort of like Shetland pony size, but a unicorn. If you use a shiny stone on Capticorn, it will evolve into Unifornic. This is going to be a majestic beast of a unicorn. It's not going to have wings, it's just going to be a pure unicorn, similar to sort of the style of Rapidash. It's going to be quite white, but it's not going to be on fire. It's going to have pink flowing hair and it's just going to be an exceptionally powerful Pokemon basically. However, if you use a Dusk Stone on Capticorn, it will evolve into Malevolorn, which is based off of Malevolent and Unicorn, and it's going to be a fairy dragon type. The only one we've got of those so far is Mega Altaria, and that's just temporary, so we need a fairy dragon type, and Malevolorn is the one. It's going to turn black and it's going to have a deep black mane to it. Still going to be a unicorn, but that's going to be more of a masculine build and it's going to just look awesome. We now have the first in a 3-stage evolution of a swordfish Pokemon, Minord. It's going to be a minor sword. It's just going to look like a little fish, but it's going to have a quite long sword sort of nose, if you want to call it that, which is going to be twice as long as its actual small body. This will then evolve into Bladive, which is going to have more of an aerodynamic shape to its sword. It's going to be flat as you look at it head on, but as you look at it side on, it's going to get wider as it gets nearer the body. And then that will evolve into Sea Razord. This is going to be similar to Bladive, and it's going to have a bigger helm, if you want to call it that. And then it will just extend out and it's going to have jagged bits in there and it's going to look pretty awesome and like an actual sword, which is kind of weird with Pokemon Sword and Shield coming. Kangaloopy is pretty simple. It's going to be a kangaroo with boxing gloves. It's not going to be able to evolve, not going to have a baby in its pouch, and it's going to look more like a kangaroo than Kangaskhan does. Scradger is a badger and it's a ground type. This is going to dig and it's going to be quite mischievous, and that will evolve into Combadger, the ground fighting type. Moving on to Dribble. This is going to be a platypus Pokemon, and then that will evolve into Platizap. This is going to be water electric. This takes inspiration from actual platypus mammals that have a little bit of electric current to them, or you know, they can manipulate electric fields, so that's what Platizap is going to have. Next up is the bug type Magling. This is going to just be a very small maggot, similar in size to Tynamo. However, this is going to evolve into Terrawurma, the bug ground type Pokemon. This is going to be similar in power to Volcarona, and they're going to be counterpart Pokemon from each other. Terrawurma is going to be one side, Volcarona the other, and they're going to always be at each other's throats, similar to Seviper and Zangoose. Turble is the Turbot Pokemon, and it's going to be the counterpart to Stunfisk. Stunfisk is flat that way, Turbot's going to be flat that way, and let's be honest, it's not going to be difficult to be better than Stunfisk. We then have my grass type starter, Ribbit. This is going to be a grassy tree frog, and it's going to be very slender in its design. This will evolve into Frogrove. It's going to be a darker green colour with sort of yellow specks on it, and it's going to have more power in its legs and arms. And then this will evolve into Frog'n'Roll. This is going to be a spherical body, massive fat toad with very strong arms and legs, and have the ability to manipulate any sort of growth within plants or trees. Next up we have a Pokemon based off the Eastern long-neck turtle, and that is Nexling. This is basically just going to have a long neck and have a signature move which is going to use its neck for its ability. I think Neck Whip or Whiplash. I haven't figured that one out yet. This then evolves into Flexinex. Basically this is a Pokemon that can extend its neck out. Think of original Fantastic Four, but not as corny. We also have Poison. This is going to be a Pokemon that likes to stay sort of clenched and curled up and have its spikes out there and be a poison type. However, this will then evolve into Vesimus and become quite a show-offy Pokemon, and always have its spikes on show, always be extended and out and looking around, and always be ready for battle. Next up is a 3-stage evolution, the starter being Minomu, which is based off of a baby emu. That will then evolve into Normu, which is literally going to be a normal emu. I was not very imaginative when I thought of that name. And then finally, it will evolve evolve into Enormuse, which is going to be an enormous emu and going to be exceptionally strong and a very good flying type Pokemon. We then have Devalash, which is going to be based off of the Tasmanian Devil. It's going to be a dark type. Again, it's going to be very mischievous and you're not going to be able to stop it once it starts attacking. Cynid is the next Pokemon on my list and I'm exceptionally happy with it. It's going to be a poison psychic type, the first of its kind. I know it should be a bug if it's based off of a funnel web spider. However, it's not going to be, it's going to be poison and psychic. It will evolve into Araxic. I'm hoping Araxic will have the same impact as Toxapex does in Generation 7, but either way, it's going to be pretty cool. It will evolve at level 56 into Araxic. Next up, we have Fatalantis, which is a Pokemon based off of the Glaucus atlanticus. It's silver from below, so that it's disguised from underneath by looking like the sky, and it's blue from above, so that it's disguised from above whilst looking like the sea. It's very good at dealing with poisonous things, so it's going to have a new ability, Venom Absorb, which makes it completely immune to poison type attacks. We then have the red panda Pokemon Flamander. It's going to have the ability Deception. Because it's such a cute Pokemon and people think they can beat it easily, when they hit it with a physical type move, their defense will be lowered by 2 stages, because Flamander will just break out and start attacking. Flamander is not going to evolve into a big strong Pokemon in Bernadea. No, they're both going to be very cute. It's kinda small, hence why it's got a deception ability. We then have Burrowl, which is going to be similar size to Rowlet or Hoot Hoot, and that's going to be a ground flying type. It's going to be able to burrow underneath, and that is based off of the burrowing owls that exist in the world. That will evolve into Growldigger. That's right, Growldigger. I'm really inventive with that name, and all I can say on that is that it's a slightly bigger Burrowl. It evolves when you know Dig. We then have Vespeg. This is a bug normal type and it is actually going to be the egg of a hornet. The actual egg. This will then evolve into Vespive, the larva of a hornet, still bug normal, but then that will evolve into Hornectric, a bug electric type, an electric type hornet. Imagine a Beedrill, but electric and looking a lot more jagged and a lot more just fine-tuned. Going to have the ability Solar Power, which powers up electric type moves in harsh sunlight. This is based off of the fact that it uses the sunlight in real life to trigger some sort of electrical current within itself. We then have Youngil, which is going to be a baby shoebill Pokemon, pure flying type. That will evolve into the dark flying type Pokemon Ebill, which is going to be a Youngil, but it's been turned slightly evil, which then evolves into Scowbill. And that's where the scowling look of a shoebill is going to come into play more prominently. Sort of the size of Mandibuzz, but it's going to know stuff like Glare and Scary Face, and it's going to be pretty strong. We then have Hydrouse, the fire hydrant Pokemon. This is going to be steel water type. You're going to see it all around the Furrow region, and it's going to be helpful to beat fires and to beat fire types. We then have Furmelt, which is going to be based off of a melting furnace, but a small one. It's going to have the ability Smelt, which means if it's hit by a fighting type move, the target is instantly burned. This will then evolve into Delaquelt, which is going to be the middle stage evolution, and where the handles of the furnace are going to start being incorporated into its arms. But then this will evolve into Burnus. Burnus is going to have the Smelt ability. It's also going to have a move which can raise it off the floor to negate the 4 times weak to ground with fire and steel. And it's also going to have a signature move of Molten Metal. This is going to be power of 75, accuracy of 95, fire type move, which will lower the opposition's speed by 2 stages if it hits. 100% guaranteed. Coming up next we have Oilamp, which is going to be based off of an oil lamp, believe it or not. Yeah, again, I'm really imaginative with these names. That will then evolve into Lampini. This will go from being pure steel type to steel ghost, because it's going to be a haunted oil lamp with a genie or a djinn inside of it. And it's going to literally be something coming out of a lamp, looking all sort of spectacle and ghosty, sort of like a Spiritomb. After that we have Staticang. That's going to be an electric kangaroo. That's right, yes, another kangaroo. Electric fighting type, this one. And that is going to evolve into Elekanga, a bigger electric fighting type kangaroo. Next up on my list, I actually have Kangaloopy, which is a duplicate. Anyway, next up after that we have Caperone. This is going to be a traffic cone. That's right, a traffic cone. It's going to have 4 forms based on the colour of a traffic cone, and it's going to be an electric type as a yellow sort of form, a grass type as a green sort of form, an ice type as a blue sort of form, and a normal type, which is just going to be orange. They will have the ability Danger Area, which means that if they use Double Team, it will start the terrain of their specific type. You have electric terrain, grassy terrain, you have icy terrain, a new terrain move, which is going to power up all ice type moves by 50% and lower the speed of any non-ice type Pokemon. And then you have the plain terrain, which is going to power up all normal type moves by 50%, as well as that it's going to nullify type matchups. That's right, completely nullify them. After these, we have 2 of my Pokemon I featured in my Furrow Part 2 video. First up, Murcilus. This is going to be the legendary of this region, and it's going to be based off of the Loch Ness Monster and set in the northern area of the region, based in a lake. We then have Drygedel, which is going to be set in the west of the region, which is where I'm basing some Welsh bits off of, and that is going to be based off of the red dragon you see on the Welsh flag. I know it's an obvious choice, but I don't care. That's what I want, that's what I have got in the Furrow region. So looking at this, I've doubled up one Pokemon and I've only got 99, not 100. But that is it, everyone. That is 98 Pokemon I've invented. I hope you've enjoyed yourself, and I hope you enjoyed these 2 videos. See part 1 if you haven't already. But either way, thank you for watching. Tune in again. Follow me on Twitter, PokePidge, and I will see you soon. Bye bye. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you've enjoyed this video, why not leave a like or a comment down below? Believe me, both are really appreciated. And of course, if you've seen this video and you want to see more from me, click that subscribe button. Why not even ring the bell? Get notified the second I upload a video. But until next time, I'll see you later.